it was a time. So Nas, Mobb Deep, Wu Tang, all that came out, brought the street back to hip hop. It had because of De La Soul and all them, it had gotten and
It was more that they were more
right,
like that college rap, that hippie
right,
shit.
that hippie shit. So when Wu came out,
It brought
it
it back
was
to the streets.
yeah, that's what it was, and that's exactly what it was. It was return of the hardcore. Even KRS One was saying return to the boom bap means just that, right? Return of the real hardcore beats
I
and
think
real
like
rap.
DMX was a part of that too. Like I said, Mob Deep.
DMX came a little later. Mob Deep for sure, but Mob Deep came out like a step after. But DMX came later than that.
And Wu Tang?
Yeah, dude. DMX, Rough Riders, all that shit came out like
Yeah, we need a
95.
Googler. Hey, is there anyone that wants to be a Googler for us to smoke a gang of weed?
Yeah, right. No, we might be off a year or two with some of this stuff, but we're right in the same.
You know what's funny, dog, is we're having this conversation, and now that I think I'm all fucking John Blaze, but I was at work the other day, and I had to break some shit down real quick, fool, because I was watching some shit, and I was in my mind, I was like, I had the timeline kind of right, but I gotta get it right, and it was on West Coast shit, and it was like, who can't? My ones were Ice T, Too Short, NWA, King T.
Okay, okay.
So I already knew that Ice T came out first because he came out first. I already know that. But I knew I had a feeling that Too Short was way before NWA too because I remember buying their tapes at the flea market, the bootlegs, and that was way before NWA came out.
Dude, when Too Short came out with that, fucking, I gotta slow down and let the gold diggers count my spokes. Like that to me was craziness, and that was 92,
Yes, this is early, bro. And then
91, 92.
and then I would always like put King T and NWA kind of like together because my comparison with them is like when you look at NWA on their first EP or whatever, they look like they're from the East Coast, bro. They're not wearing Dickies. They're not representing that LA culture type shit. They're wearing Adidas. A couple of them have Flavor Flav clocks. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is like, y'all turned out to be gangster, but y'all were you were kind of portrayed some way different. But King T literally came out within months, maybe before or after, maybe I don't know. It's really at the same time. He has the most gangsterous cover ever because it's at the same time. It's the same music, and they I just seen an interview with him today, and they talked about his iconic fucking shot with the Cadillac, straight Dickie suit, Raiders hat with the 12 gauge with and looks looking like a fucking gangster like that shit really was. Dog.
Well, I mean, it was very fluid. I don't know if you remember, like Ice T, right? So like Ice T, I remember Ice T coming out in like uh,
He was like in the
Electric
movie.
Boogaloo.
Yeah, he was in
Breaking
he was
and all that.
in Breaking.
But I remember seeing Ice T, and it was more. He was. I mean, you can't get more LA than Ice T, right? But he was on that like kind of New York. If you remember,
He kind of was.
if you
He was spinning kind of
with
fast.
the leather and the boom and the leather hat, and so if you remember that shit. I mean photos of Dr. Dre. You gotta see all dripped out in boots and with like fucking. So it was very fluid because they were all emulating the rappers that came from the Houdini.
But that's what I'm saying though. With King T, he's an original OG in the West Coast. He did it.
Right.
He kept it fucking gangster. His lyrics and rap were more East Coast than his look and everything, which is crazy because he talks about day to day. You know, I couldn't find my day to day tape. You know.
Yeah, but people forget, or even now, when people experiment with hip hop now, and they're a little more on that like, um, experimenting with like older themes or like just even more on like some like I'm gonna speak my truth or whatever. People are like, oh, that's soft. But if you really think about like all what was happening, even early in hip hop, that's what they were talking about. They were talking about their day to day life. They were talking about like what happened to me and whether that was Slick Rick or if that was I mean that was later, but even Ice Cube like the day to day what's the song that Ice Cube Today Was a Good Day. It was kind of those kind of raps where people were just experimenting with like, you know.
I think Cube was like all over the place. If you look at his career, he started off gangster, and he went East Coast, and he went militant, and he went to that, and went to some other shit.
What a beautiful thing to be an artist, though, man.
Yeah,
you can flip it and bounce it, and one day you feel like this, and the next day you
Exactly.
feel like that. And that's cool. And I know a lot of rappers nowadays they struggle with that, right? Because it's like, you know, I had a friend who's he was a really great rapper, and he did both. He did like real mental heavy raps, and then he did street gangster shit. Like he talk about people getting murdered because that's how he grew up. He saw shit, but then he'd turn around and be like knowledge for self and this and that. But what I would always tell him, I'm like, nah, bro, you gotta come out hard first, then go soft. Because if you come out soft and try to go hard, nobody's gonna take you seriously. I mean, look at what happened to MC Hammer. MC Hammer was the softest dude on the planet. He was soft batch cookies. Then he came back out, and then he tried to do that '90s hard shape, with the
And even at that, he was signed with Death Row.
Yeah, they laughed him out the block.
You ain't running with the hardest motherfuckers.
You gotta come out hard first, then soft, bro. You can't do it backwards, But yeah, man, hip hop is a great thing, man, and a lot of people, and I know now it's real popular to be like, your mind's expanded, and you're like, oh, what are you gonna do, the hippity hop sprays, and you're gonna do that, almost as if like hip hop's a bad thing. But I'll be like, no, man, I grew up hip hop. I'm a hip hop guy.
What do you think of the new music? You a fan? I mean, I'm sure there's some people you like and some people you don't. But I mean, what do you think?
Sure. What I think is I embrace the youth. I embrace the new stuff. I try to listen to it. A lot of it's not for me, but it's not meant for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So like I'll hear it, and I told you this I think last time we were here. It's like me trying to explain my 17-year-old self trying to explain to my uncle about why ODB was the shit.
Right.
And my uncle was like, bro, this is trash. And I'm like, nah, you just don't get it.
Yeah,
it's kind of the same thing. Like now I try to keep an open mind, and I listen to people because, the youth, man, they're the truth, man. You got to listen to them. But it's not all for me, dude.
No, I get it. You're right.
I keep an open mind, but some of it I'm like, yeah.
Some of it's cool, but some of it
I'm not hating. It's just not for me.
I was listening to some music earlier, and I was trying to just figure out what to classify it, because it was on some straight gangster shit, but it was they were singing, and it was it wasn't normal gangster shit. It was almost some
Was it fucking?
It was tight,
Was it man, my memory's horrible today, dude.
It's like nothing I've heard before. I've heard other stuff from the city that sounds like that.
But is it like Death Row singing shit? What's his name? Rest in peace.
Nate Dogg.
Yeah.
Kind of yeah. I guess you can kind of put.
What do you feel about emo shit, like Kid Cudi and stuff like that?
I mean, some of it's cool.
You can vibe on it intellectually. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of it is cool. It if it's too emo. Like what about this guy they killed? What was his name? XXX or what is his name?
Yeah, Extacion or I don't know. Yeah, I probably said it wrong. Don't butcher me.
Right. Have you ever heard of his music?
I haven't.
I haven't either.
You know what's crazy?
But I know motherfuckers love him.
Yeah, for real. I knew motherfuckers who loved fucking Tekashi 6ix9ine before he did all the snitching. That were I don't even know how to explain it. For people at work. People at work corporate fucking. You know what I mean? That just love that shit. And I was like, I don't know, bro, but it's just on it, bro. And you're just like, what the fuck are you? Why? What? I've listened to it and I can't get any of that.
You ever seen the video of him online where they remixed the fucking he did a gunshot and then they remixed it into a whole.
Oh no!
You gotta Google that shit.
But even like that, man, I know people like you said that will ride for that shit, and it's just what the fuck do you see in it? But I never.
What about we've talked about classic rock. I think we all agree on that. What other music do you fuck with?
I listen to everything, bro. Pretty much. I mean,
Spanish music.
Oldies, old shit, not anything new. That you know what I mean?
fuck with like.
That's what I was gonna tell you. That's what I was gonna classify like some of the new music. It's almost like that cartel Mexican music.
Like the corridos.
Yeah, but like American version, but it's kind of the same shit because it's all, but it's all like it. You know what I mean? It's like not just like saying it. It's like grasping you type shit. If that makes any kind of sense. Like Tupac would grasp you, Kendrick, you know, kind of grasp you like that music. You just like it starts. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
What you gotta do is when you edit this, you gotta put in like 2 second snippets of everything we're talking about.
Like, then it'll go 2 seconds.
Like bush niggas, and you be like, gosh,
oh, I can just go just do an overdub. That's what I got. Yeah, I got you.
No, you know, but like cumbia, salsa, any of that kind of stuff.
Nah, not really. I mean, you know.
That's what we grew up listening
to. Some borracho music, you know what I mean? That's like you got to figure. I'm like 4 or 5 years older than you, so my shit, you know, my dad was listening to all that get drunk music.
Yeah. That Marvin Gaye.
Well, no, I like Mexican music.
Oh,
like Jose Fredimez or fucking Antonio Aguilar or you know, shit like that. Like
Aguilera and
all that shit.
Yeah.
But we listen to all that shit. Like I said, we grew up with music, bro. We grew up with fucking Motown, The Temptations, Marvin Gaye, all that shit. Michael Jackson. We listen to music, everything, bro.
That's what's up. Yeah, man. So I think we covered some of the. Next time we'll talk about late '90s hip hop, and we'll move into. Well, no, you know what? One thing we will touch upon is I was just telling you I listened to the I read the Fat Joe book, and I never, I guess I knew he came out that early. Mm-hmm. Like he talks about it in his book about how he was like one of the first Latino rappers.
This is what's crazy, bro, about Fat Joe.
It was like 91, 92, or 93. I remember him being early, but I didn't remember him being that early. And then when I went back after the book and I like saw some of his videos, I'm like, oh shit, okay.
No, what's funny about that is I met him about a month ago when he was here, and I talked to him about that. I was like, bro, we're probably about the same age. And I was like, what's funny is like I graduated and I went to school in Albuquerque, New Mexico, University of New Mexico. And a couple of people that I was cool with started calling me Fat Joe. And like they're like, there's this rapper named Fat Joe. And I remember going to like the record shop or even like the magazine shop and seeing him on the cover, and he was like some ball full of, you know what I mean?
Would you go to Tower Records?
Yeah, like we would go like, I'm trying to think, there was like a bookstore in Albuquerque, like in Nob Hill, that had like, they sold like records and like magazines. When I saw that shit there, and there was like a couple of like mom and pops, like record shops that I seen there, you know what I mean? But I
miss those, man. They would just let you sit there and look through the shit.
But I told him about that, and I was like, yeah, so everyone started calling me Fat Joe the Gangster. I was like, because I was like from the hood, like, you know what I mean? But from Denver, and, you know, I talk different than people, you know, in college. They're like, they're kind of proper, you know what I mean? So when you come there, I get just kind of all over the place. They're like, what the fuck?
What did he say? He's like, nah, there's only one Fat Joe.
Nah, he's like, he said good shit, you know what I mean? Shit, gave me a pound and kept it pushing, you know?
That's funny.
But no, real quick, I was going to tell you, like, Fat Joe, bro, like, I remember that. I was in 92. And Fat Joe is, like, the man when it comes to, like, hip-hop as far as being a part or being monumental shit. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I didn't know that till, like, again, I read the book, but, like, that, I didn't know that he was, like, digging in the crates. And
all that.
Right, and I didn't know
today
that.
I heard a tight-ass song by Big L, and I was like, I fucking Shazammed it real quick, because I was some Tony Touch shit. And it was like Big L, Fat Joe, and Fat Joe. I was like, damn, this is tight.
Right, I didn't know a lot of that, like that early shit, like.
Early, yeah, big dude. How many motherfuckers can say they have a song with Big L?
Well, in the book, he talks about how they were gonna form a group and all this shit.
They're on different. They were on like kind of some different level shit, bro. It was a trip.
You know, but it's like that, man. You know, especially when you run in those kind of circles, man. You'd be surprised how small those actual circles are. You know, like as an artist.
Like I'm sure if you read the book, he talks about the fucking being on stage for the fucking freestyle they did with Biggie and Tupac. And like he was right there, and he was supposed to be like next, and like Big Daddy Kane like took the mic and kind of cut. There's like there's like 5 people on stage, you know what I mean? And they let Biggie go, Tupac, and like one more person I want to say maybe Big Daddy Kane went, and Fat Joe was right there and he was about to go next and he wouldn't let him go. Like some crazy shit. But that's monumental because that's on Biggie's, that CD when he died. Some, you know what I mean? I have too many Tupac Biggie freestyles.
That's right. I don't know, man. I think those years, those formative years, at least in my opinion, of hip hop. Hip hop had a sort of renaissance in the fact that there was artists coming from everywhere. At the time, you had the West Coast stuff, you had all the Hyro stuff popping off, you had Domino, Del the Funky Homo Sapien, you had like all that like Hyro stuff, hieroglyphics, and what are these guys called from Hyro?
Which one?
93 to Infinity.
Souls of Mischief?
Souls of Mischief. My brother brought Souls of Mischief to Chicago. You want to hear a funny story?
Yeah.
Sorry, Teal. I always have to apologize because I always tell these stories, but he ended up bringing Souls of Mischief to a concert that